After the show, be sure to get your Friendo Club t-shirt from the Steve and Larson merch store at TeePublic. The link is in the description. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Welcome back to Going in Raw. It's the podcast that we do. It's a wrestling podcast available on the iTunes. We want to say thank you, first of all, to Total Biscuit and Nerd Cubed, Dan and John, for helping us out with yesterday's episode. Big success. They're big names in the industry.
Yeah.
So thank you once again, guys, and you're welcome anytime to come on the show.
Anytime.
Yeah. So, Royal Rumble happened. If you want our thoughts on that, check out that episode.
Yeah.
Raw happened.
Yeah.
So first, we're going to do... It's the motherfucking Raw Cap.
No, you don't say Raw Cap. I say Raw Cap. Raw Cap.
All right, it's Raw Cap time.
Was I the only one that thought that Raw was a complete waste of time?
They were proving themselves to the authority.
Well, the authority should have been proving themselves to us.
All right, so here's the thing.
I said this to you before we started, that if you take out the opening segment, Triple H the champion, if you watch the rest of Raw, it was as if the Royal Rumble never happened.
I agree. When you put it that way, and it got me thinking about back in the day when Austin, what would happen when Austin would lose the belt? The very next Raw, his music would come out, he'd be pissed, he'd get in the ring, and he would call out, he would say, "Get your ass down here right now." Did we even see Roman Reigns before?
The main event? No, I don't think so.
I don't think we did either.
He should have been upset.
He didn't seem all that perturbed. Let's just go through it beat by beat, though. Triple H comes out at the beginning, and instead of offering some sort of actual motivation, he just said, "I wanted to be the champion, and so I am the champion now, and everybody backstage has to respect me."
You know what he should have said is, "I got tired of relying on other people to do the job. I can only trust myself. I'm going to do this myself."
Exactly, but instead he just sort of gave this generic...
But I wonder if he didn't want to, even in terms of kayfabe, throw other wrestlers under the bus.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. So he'd have to say, he'd have to say, "Randy Orton, you didn't do your job."
Yeah.
Even Seth Rollins, to an extent, you didn't do your job.
But he's a
didn't do your
heel.
job.
He's a heel.
No, I know.
And, there is an element of, if you want to get a job done, you got to get it done right. Vince does that shit all the time. He comes out straight up and does that. You're right about that. It did feel weird. The whole setup of, this is the road to WrestleMania. This should be the launching pad for storylines leading to WrestleMania, and this is a week wasted.
Yeah, because they advanced nothing.
All we got was the very end. We got the main event for FASTLANE. We got the three people who could be the number one contender to the belt. But AJ Styles shows up. I do kind of like. Because was that the first match with that? No,
that was
Owens versus Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, that was the first match.
And it was a clean finish.
Yeah.
Nobody fucked with Owens afterwards. We didn't hear from any of them again.
I made note of this in the show notes. It was very interesting juxtaposition to see how Owens and Ambrose sold, even next on Raw, the after effects of their matches at the Royal Rumble, and Roman Reigns just comes out as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. I mean, give me some DDP rib tape.
Yeah.
What did he injure?
Over the vest.
Yeah. What did he injure in the Royal Rumble? His shoulder?
Who?
Injure. Roman Reigns.
I don't know.
When he went to the back.
Oh, I guess so. I remember them mentioning a specific body part.
I thought he was holding himself. Anyways, you're right. Yeah. He should have been selling that.
But he didn't even sell it later that night, really, at the Royal Rumble. When he came back, he just came out and was fine.
Yeah.
They're really taking three steps back with Roman Reigns.
They kind of are. I know. Not only did he sort of, when he got eliminated from the Rumble, he instantly became a non-factor. When there had already been precedent. Again, we go over this in detail in yesterday's episode. But yeah, you're right. He didn't. You're right. If he's going to be the main star of the show, if he's going to be your Austin, your Cena, he needs to come out and be. You said earlier he should have come out and said something along the lines of, "Hey, you guys screwed me." I kind of disagree with that because he didn't really get screwed. He was up for the challenge of 1 versus 29.
Well, I said he got screwed in so much that the League of Nations came out early in the Rumble and beat the hell out of him.
But then he sounds whiny. I agree with the fact that he should have come out
Well, I just think the larger point is he should have come out and done something at the beginning
and
of the
been
show.
pissed off. Because you're right, like he came out of the main event and he just seemed fine. He was totally fine with
Yeah.
everything that happened. He lost his belt. You say the belt is your livelihood, the belt is what's keeping your family fed, and you're totally fine losing the belt.
I know.
And there's really no implication to him losing the belt on the part of the authority. If they really don't want him to win the belt, why are they even considering him in the main event?
I know.
That's kind of my problem with Triple H holding the belt. I like Triple H, but my problem with him holding the belt is, and the way he was explaining it at the beginning is, it's like, okay, well, you're sort of taking all the drama out of it if you're just saying, I'm going to have the belt because I want the belt, and I'm the boss, so there's really nothing anybody can do. Okay, well, there's really nothing anybody can do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Austin used to raise hell and get fired and all that kind of stuff, but Roman Reigns isn't doing any of that. He's not taking any initiative. They're not writing him that way, rather.
Yeah. Which in turn makes Reigns look really weak.
Like, I kind of understand the whole premise of, okay, we want you guys to prove your mettle. We want you guys to show us what you're worth. But it's like, how did they qualify all of that?
Yeah, I know, especially when Lesnar wasn't even at Raw and somehow got a spot in the main event at FASTLANE.
I know Heyman was there at Raw, though, right?
No.
Oh, he wasn't?
No.
Okay, he was there at the Rumble. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. It was kind of, I mean, yeah. Okay. Anyways, The Rock came back. I mean, you're right. There was nothing that happened. There were no storylines or anything. We had AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho in a decent match. They teased his Styles clash. I like that that's going to be kind of a thing.
Yeah, they're kind of doing with that what they do with the go to sleep with the Tommy in NXT. They tease it.
Right.
I assume at a major event he'll actually do it.
Right, exactly. So that's going to happen. They're making sure they're going through the list of, okay, who do we trust to put his head back? Back.
Well, I think the real issue, especially after watching him try to do it at the Rumble, that if there's a guy who's larger than him,
Yeah.
you shouldn't try to do it.
Yeah. You see him doing the Styles Clash on the Big Show. So anyways, let's see, what else do we have here? How to sell, exactly. Far and away, my Twitter feed blew up.
Top story of the week.
Blew up because Bo Dallas got new ring gear. He also, and I missed this segment, I have to go back and watch it, because I actually watched Raw live, but I think I had to run an errand or something during a match. I missed, I guess there was a wrap-off between Flo Rida, and everybody that I was looking at Twitter, everybody was saying Bo Dallas actually out-rapped Flo Rida. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I did see pictures up and down of his new gear.
Yeah.
Very happy about that.
The best part of that was Bo Dallas was smiling the entire time. It was funny.
I gotta check that out. I'll check it out. Yeah, I'm very excited. There's a part of me that's kind of sad though, because now I have to move on from that. No more dirty diapers for Bo Dallas.
It's still predominantly white ring gear.
Yeah. There's blue trim.
Blue trim.
And it seems a bit sturdier, doesn't it?
Well, it's one piece, over the chest and back.
Yeah.
And then covering the legs and buttocks area.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm just saying, since it's white,
Yeah.
if he takes the same approach to this ring gear as he did to the prior ring gear and not wash it, it could still yield the same result.
It's gonna. Well, he just needs to come out. Like they need to make sure that he has like a couple of them.
But he can rotate.
Yeah, he can rotate so
Yeah.
it just doesn't get thin. Remember, like Scott Hall used to come out with his it looked like the dripping blood, but then he came out with the gray one, and he just sort of felt that didn't they used to be white?
Yeah.
And it just got grayer and grayer
Yeah.
and grayer. Let's see here. So you have here Styles made his Raw debut. We mentioned in the podcast with Dan and John.
They seem to be teasing a lot of
storylines
for WrestleMania, and they followed up on none of them.
AJ
practically.
Styles, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Neville, even Ambrose,
Jericho.
So I guess because they inserted Ambrose into the number one. Let's look at Fastlane.
Okay.
Number one contenders match: Reigns, Ambrose, Lesnar. We know that the Wyatts are going to interfere and get Lesnar out somehow.
Yeah. So is Ambrose in the match strictly to be the guy that Reigns pins?
We've said that before, I feel like Ambrose wasn't that before. So I'm not going to immediately leap to that.
What about this? I'm just throwing this out here.
Go ahead. I fully respect your fantasy book.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. What if, based on the reactions Reigns got at Rumble, they're like, okay, we need a plan B just in case.
Ooh.
So at FASTLANE, Lesnar gets taken out by the Wyatts.
Okay.
Double pin.
Oh, you love double pins.
Reigns and Ambrose.
Okay, here's my idea. It's a dusty finish. Okay, listen, you and you. You're going to go out there and nobody wins.
No, they both win.
Both win. That's not a dusty finish. That's not your finish, Dusty. Nobody wins a dusty finish.
So they both advance to the main event at WrestleMania against Triple H. And so if they need to call an audible and have, in the end, Ambrose go over, they have that in their back pocket.
have that in their back. Man, that's a good one. I love the idea of the Intercontinental Champion being in the main event dance, though. I kind of like that. I like that a lot.
It'd be cool if Ambrose wrestled for both, defended the IC belt and then wrestled for the
You know what also,
heavyweight title.
you know what kind of bolsters that, what you're saying, too, is the fact that it's it's more likely. That scenario is actually a more likely scenario. I don't know about the double pin. It's not going to be a double pin.
Well, this something.
It's going to be, it's a dusty finish.
Something where they both will advance to WrestleMania.
Brock Lesnar, you're going to be taken out by the Wyatts. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, nobody wins. Dusty finish. You know what kind of bolsters that theory is the fact that we have an entire month of build-up for Fastlane. Wait, Fastlane's about a month away.
Yeah, okay. The 21st of February.
So we have a whole month of build-up for Fastlane with the Intercontinental Champion not defending his belt. Or probably not defending his belt. Definitely not losing his belt. I mean, that's got to be weird. So you're going to have all that build-up, and so that's all story that's not being built up for WrestleMania. So it wouldn't surprise me if that turned out to be the case.
Could be. But, also after Royal Rumble, we thought, Jericho Ambrose, for sure.
Did we?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay.
But I have no problem with that match.
Wow.
I just don't think the Intercontinental belt should be involved in it.
Yeah, I don't want that match. I want a match where I don't know the winner.
Yeah.
Because there's no way Jericho's going to have a belt. After WrestleMania, he's probably... Well, I don't know. They said that his new contract is kind of longish.
I think it's a month or two after WrestleMania.
Yeah, but he's not going to have the belt. There's no need for him to have the IC
And that's
belt.
kind of, like I said, the match I don't mind. Mm-hmm. Even though, we would know who's going to win. Just it shouldn't be for the IC belt.
Yeah. So no, I mean that your theory might hold water, and that would be fantastic. That's a really smart move on their part. And say, hey, this could go either way. Imagine going to the ring, guys. We're not entirely sure who's going to win this,
and just let the crowd decide.
We'll let you know. That's a guaranteed win for Ambrose. Tell you that much. That's a guaranteed win for Ambrose.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the crowd was sort of chanting for Roman last
It's
time.
really interesting how different crowds are.
Yeah. How is it an entire city? I mean, I guess it's just what you grew up on.
And maybe because it doesn't NXT, don't they tape in Orlando?
Yeah.
So I mean, it could have been a good portion of that crowd at the Royal Rumble were
that could be.
Were NXT fans, and I think they're more dedicated, I guess, in the sense of keeping up with things both in the ring and backstage.
You didn't mention here, didn't Sasha have a match against Becky Lynch?
Yeah, Divas.
Divas. I use the word divas, that's why.
Sorry, oops.
Yeah. So Divas right now we've got...
women's wrestling.
The women's wrestling.
Yeah, sorry.
You had Becky Lynch and Sasha mixing it up last night in a pretty decent match. I think there was a botch somewhere. What did I say a botch? I saw a botch at some point. Kevin Owens and Dolph. I don't know. I saw a botch at some point. It was weird. Like they didn't know if they were gonna whip each other.
Oh yeah. It was the Kevin Owens match.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of funny. Let's see here. Triple threat. So you're speculating possibly a triple threat at Fastlane. You think Becky Lynch is still in the picture at Fastlane?
That could be.
It could be. And then, because there was also another women's match. It was the tag match, Natalya and Paige versus Alicia Fox and Brie.
Yeah.
Brie Bella. Yeah. And that had no consequence. You know what I like about that though is that the match is there. It's a zero consequence match, but the match is there.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And it's cool to see Natalya get some TV time.
Yeah, totally. I like her a
Good.
lot. She's really good. Where do you think Becky Lynch goes from here, though? Because we're obviously looking at Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. Where do you think Becky Lynch goes?
If it is a triple threat,
at Fastlane?
Charlotte's going to, Fastlane. Charlotte will win. Mm-hmm. Becky will take the pin.
Yeah.
And then Sasha could say, okay, well, you retained, but you didn't beat me.
Yeah. Where does Becky Lynch go, though? She's over.
Yeah.
She is really over. Then I would say it'd probably be Paige. I mean, unless Paige is still... No, I mean, she was wrestling last night, so...
No, I'm still sticking by my prediction that Bayley is going to debut the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah, but I'm asking you Becky Lynch.
Where's she go next?
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be against Paige because Paige is a good guy now. Or sorry, a good
gal.
gal.
There you go.
She's a face, baby face. So I don't. No.
Yeah, just
Be someone else.
Someone else, yeah. Whatever it is she's gonna do, she's totally like a strong number 3 right now. Like she's gonna, whoever she does, she's gonna go over on. Let's see here. Kalisto versus Miz. You have here.
That was a really good match.
It was a solid match, yeah.
It was fun.
It was a solid match, yeah. It was fun. I have a hard time taking it. You know, it's funny. I like Miz because I think he's entertaining. I just never want to see him wrestle.
Yeah.
I have zero desire to see that guy wrestle whatsoever.
I usually feel that way, but last night I was surprised by how well he performed.
Yeah.
It was good. It was entertaining. I really liked it.
He can still wrestle.
Yeah.
He's been in the company for 10 years now. It's a long time to be the Miz.
Yeah.
Let's see here. And then, of course, The Rock came back.
Yeah.
I tweeted this out, and then I had to sort of backtrack a little bit. Because we've had this conversation before. Like, I'm becoming more and more aware of, like, you know what? We might meet... I'm never going to think that I'm going to meet The Rock. Elliot met The Rock.
Yeah.
You know, we're in the same line of business, kind of.
It's within the realm of possibility.
It's always possible.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy who tweeted out The Rock was on coke. But I did. Because he totally came off like he was on coke. And then I backtracked and said, I don't really think he's on coke. I was joking.
Yeah,
it was a joke.
he was really high energy.
Thank you. He was really high. Number one, he pulled up in an Austin-looking black truck. I thought for sure that was Stone Cold. I mean, I heard rumors. I knew they were in Miami. I knew I was like, okay, I figured The Rock. But like when I back, I was like, oh, please let it be. And then he came out, and I was like, okay, whatever. He was just really high energy, and it's like I get that he's putting on the show, but man, and then that stuff with Lana.
Yeah.
It's not funny anymore.
No, his whole shtick has kind of grown old. It hasn't. The Rock character hasn't really aged that well.
Like,
I don't feel like.
No, it hasn't.
He's still doing the same stuff he did 20 years ago.
Like, it's okay for Ric Flair because he's old and crazy. And so it's like, oh, this is Ric Flair. But it's like, Rock, you're an international icon. You're a superstar right now. You need to, like, not be doing that stuff. I thought the stuff with the Big Show was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But again, The Rock's weird coke energy was throwing me off.
Yeah.
You know? He's like, yeah, you know what happened? You know what happened? And then it was like, you know what happened? You know what happened? The producer of the Scorpion King 2 was watching that match.
I don't know if it was so much that as it was it's the guy, like the friend of yours, who his life seems like it's going perfect in every respect, and he's just so happy.
Yeah.
He's just so happy that he wants everybody sharing his happiness.
Yeah.
And so he's high energy and really positive.
He's the Fwiz of the WWE. You see that video of Fwiz in his BMW?
Yeah.
You gotta love that guy. You know, the thing about Fwiz is that he's like the nicest fucking guy. He's like the super nice guy. And that makes all those kind of things like totally acceptable. Because like, oh, good for him. Jetting down the freeway in what was it? Him and one of those other optic nerds had like matching cars.
Yeah.
Anyways. So yeah, and then he hits the ring. And he had some fun little sound bites, like when he was talking shit about Byron Saxton to know who he was. That was funny. When he stopped and interviewed quickly the guys who were dressed up.
Yeah, there was small moments in that overly long and completely overindulgent segment.
The Rock, no matter what, The Rock is always charming.
Yeah, and they always give him like 20 minutes to do whatever he wants, like at WrestleMania this past year.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was funny, and I guess it progressed some kind of small story within the show.
Yeah.
But gosh, it went on forever.
It did. It really did. And I mean, that's the thing, though. He's like literally the biggest movie star on the planet today.
No, I know.
You know. And so they should be allowed to floss that. But I don't know. It's The Rock. He's always charming, even when he's being sexist and stuff. But you're right. It hasn't aged well. So am I getting this right? Do we now have The New Day versus the Usos and The Rock at Mania?
No.
I swear to God, I thought he said, see you at Mania or something like that.
I think he meant in the general sense.
Okay, all right. I was like, I really don't want to see that.
I don't think The Rock's wrestling at Mania.
I don't think so either. But one way to say like he's wrestling but not really be wrestling is to put him in a 6-man tag.
Yeah.
And try to get the Usos to try to get him to rub off on the Usos. Here's how that segment might have worked better, because the entire segment should have been planned to help get the Usos over. And they tried to do that at the end by bringing them out as family, whatever. Put the Usos in the ring with The Rock and have them clown the New Day. Show their personality. Show them talking.
I agree.
Instead, they just came out and then sort of did the thug work for The Rock. You know, they beat up on the New Day. They brought them in. Big E, I think, got a rock bottom. I don't know. The Rock is always entertaining, but he just stops everything dead cold. You know what I did realize last night though, like for the first time, I don't miss Cena at all.
Yeah, I really don't either.
I don't think
I only miss him in this respect is that, and I don't even know if "miss" is the right word. It just seems like, we look at a prospective WrestleMania card.
Sure.
Maybe just because there's not an obvious choice for an opponent for The Undertaker.
Right.
So in that sense, I miss him, but it just seems not because, I wanted to be on TV.
That's how I felt during his first run during his first injury. I was like, it's missing Cena because he's the staple.
Yeah.
I feel like, as of the Rumble anyways, last night I hope was an anomaly. But I'm happy with most of the storylines, so much so that I don't feel like he's missing.
No, I agree with that.
I
agree with that.
So it's like I'm okay with everything that's going on. The only thing I really wish they would do the U.S. title open with Kalisto. I think that's great to keep that going if they did
fantastic,
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see here.
Did you watch the main event on Raw?
I did. I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. It was good. I liked Reigns and Ambrose putting Rusev through the table.
Did you hear Rusev calling out a bunch of spots? He was the whole sequence where he was throwing Ambrose into the barricade, the wall. He'd say, I think he said either wall one more time or one more wall, 3 times. I mean, I was watching my iPad with headphones on.
Oh, okay. So you heard every bell and whistle.
But there's a lot of matches where you can hear him call spots.
Yeah.
If you watch it with headphones on.
Yeah. It's funny, Total Biscuit on the show the other day he was like, I wish the WWE would release more footage of AJ Styles coming out and see the crowd's reaction instead of Roman's face. And the WWE totally did that. Like they have another cut.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so if you guys want to see AJ Styles and like how the crowd reacted, because they were like huge pop for him.
Yeah.
Which you kind of didn't get the whole spectacle of it just by looking at Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I know. It seems like they just took if they storyboarded Sasha Banks's entrance at the Royal Rumble and Charlotte's reaction, which is done pretty well.
Yeah.
And they just said, okay, let's do the same thing for AJ coming out.
Yeah.
But it's not the same.
There's no backstory. There's no
backstory there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not as impactful. You need the story is the crowd's reaction to his arrival.
When do we get another NXT? When is it the next NXT? The next takeover. Takeover.
That's a very good question. They did those TV tapings where. Do you want to talk about Austin Aries arriving in NXT?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I know you said in the past that you don't want NXT to be TNA light.
Okay, here's my thing. AJ Styles made enough. AJ Styles seems like this is my problem with AJ Styles. I think now that I've heard your take on him. We've talked privately. AJ Styles is the guy that I'm not sure I'd really want to hang out with. Kevin Owens seems like he'd be fun to hang out with. Like he'd be a fun shit talker. He'd be fun to hang out with. You can eat. AJ Styles, whenever I've seen him in interviews or whatever, I don't really want to hang out with that guy. And that to me is kind of something. It's kind of something, It's like there's the old adage of, ladies want to be with them and guys want to have a beer with them. I'm not sure I want to have a beer with AJ Styles. But I like how much they're paying him, especially. I like how much my foot's stuck. It's stuck in this stool. Dude, I got my foot out. For how much they're paying him, they're really showing him the respect that he kind of deserves.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So there's that. Austin Aries, I actually liked. Whenever I would see, I think I tuned in to a couple of TNAs when Austin Aries was the X Division champion, and then he had to make the decision to drop the X title or keep it. But if he dropped it, he can fight for the main title.
Yeah.
And I like that. And then Kurt Angle put him over. I actually liked him. I'm not a huge fan of Ethan Carter III, but I liked Austin Aries. He's cool. Here's actually my main problem with NXT bringing people in, and it's such a small, stupid thing. If they're going to bring somebody in, bring him in the way they brought in Kevin Owens on a big show that's live. I do not like, in this day and age, I want to see somebody's debut at the same time everybody else does.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a grainy freaking iPhone picture of his debut.
Or the next day, WWE releasing a video.
That ruins it. That completely ruins it for me. I like Austin Aries. I think he's cool. I would prefer like Bobby Roode. I always love Bobby Roode. I thought he was a great heel in TNA, and I only saw a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But whenever I saw it, I was like, that guy's legit. And I always read that Triple H really, really liked Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
So it's surprising. I mean, I don't know what the whole story is with him or how long he's in a contract, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to have seen Bobby Roode in NXT. Austin Aries, I like him. It's just at this point, you've got three of the bigs from TNA. You got Samoa Joe, you got Austin Aries, you got AJ Styles.
Well, AJ's not going to be in NXT.
No, I get that, but when you bring, I know, but they're all in the same company.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And there's always the possibility with Gallows and Anderson coming in, the Bullet Club coming in. There's always the possibility that AJ could make an appearance. It seems unlikely, but there's always the possibility.
I imagine they're gonna save. They're gonna the Bullet Club guys are gonna go to NXT.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll join up with Balor.
Yeah.
And then once Balor comes up, he'll bring those guys up with him, and then they'll
at this point
have a feud of some sort with AJ.
At this point, I honestly sort of feel like especially after watching a little bit of New Japan. Apparently, New Japan has like a streaming network, which I might look into.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too.
We might have to chip in on that one. Go halvesies on it. The thing about AJ after watching that stuff is that now I kind of associate him more with New Japan than I do with TNA.
Yeah, he's been out of TNA long enough.
I know that he was TNA from the stories that I read in terms of like the botched negotiations with him, and then the WWE swooped him away. Was like they viewed him as their Sting, as their franchise guy, so they're really eager to get him back. And that's fine, but like after seeing some of his Bullet Club stuff, I'm like, oh, I sort of associate him more now with that, because that's some really strong shit that he had going on there. And people, they say, I know you've seen him in TNA, but just trust me, watch him in New Japan because it's sort of a renaissance with him, or just a.
Well, I had heard that was his best work in New Japan, so
exactly. So, but like Samoa Joe, I still sort of associate with TNA. Samoa Joe just comes off the same guy as he was in TNA.
That's because they haven't done anything with him in NXT.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of a bummer. Austin Aries, I'm looking forward to it. I wonder if this is how like a diehard WWF guy felt when WCW went under and they started doing the invasion. Because I always read that, or I saw in interviews or whatever. I forgot who said this, but they're like, when we brought in WCW guys that weren't Hogan, guys that weren't Goldberg, because Goldberg was huge, obviously, but even maybe like Booker T. But when they brought in the invasion angle, it was sort of WCW's B-listers, and the WWE crowd weren't used to the WCW wrestling. They weren't used to those guys. I'm thinking to myself, well, to me, it was all just on cable. To me, it was just two different channels. So I knew everybody. And so to me, it was just like samesies.
Yeah.
But apparently, like on the East Coast anyways, and in the North, the WWE crowd either wasn't too familiar with WCW guys that are like lower down the ladder.
Well, if you remember, during the Monday Night Wars, Nitro would air live across all the time zones. So we'd get it from 5 to 8 or whatever.
Right.
And then was it 8 or was it 9? 9, Raw would come on.
Right.
So we get to see both of them live.
Yeah. And it could be that a lot of other people had to choose. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they went head to head. Yeah, you're right. But I wonder if that's what it is. I'm sort of like, screw TNA. I don't really like them. And so I have that sort of automatic bias. But Austin Aries is a hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, he is.
He's a hell of a wrestler. And they're not going to bring in people. I really love when they're bringing people that I haven't heard of. Like Asuka, for example. Never heard of Asuka. But then when they show little clips of her in Japan, and just seeing her, I know she's been around. She has fucked some people up. So I like those kind of, like Hideo Itami. I don't know anything about him, but if they're bringing him in, he's probably good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shinsuke. Nakamura Shinsuke.
Oh, yeah,
I always
yeah.
have to freaking figure out his name. Didn't know shit about him. He's in New Japan. I saw one New Japan thing. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm bringing him in. I'm excited about that.
Did you find out when the next takeover is?
I'll find out right now. Exclusive information.
Oh, they're waiting until WrestleMania.
Exclusive announcement here. NXT TakeOver Dallas is not till April 1st.
It's not exclusive. It's on Wikipedia.
I know how to use Wikipedia, buddy.
I think everybody does.
It's all good. All right.
I wonder if they'll wait till then to debut the Bullet Club guys.
I thought somebody had a question on Twitter I wanted to answer.
Okay.
I'm going to look at that real
Did you watch the WrestleMania 31 episode of 24?
I have not yet.
It's good.
Is it really good?
Yeah.
All right.
There's this really cool little bit. It's 15 seconds long, where before the Undertaker's match with Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar's back, and they're in gorilla position.
Yeah.
And Lesnar's in his ring gear. He's ready. He's still got 20, 30 minutes before he goes out. He's just hanging out in the gorilla position.
Yeah.
And he goes up to Undertaker and goes, "You're gonna go get yourself some, huh?" Like firing him up. It's great.
I got to check that out now.
great.
That's fantastic.
And it's really cool to see Sting kind of overwhelmed by it all.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, before he walks through the curtain, he is nervous. You can tell.
Wow.
Nervous. And then once he walks through, he's Sting.
His entire career was in podunk-ass WCW and then TNA. And then to come... Do you think that in his head he's thinking, I really should have done one run back in like the 90s or something?
Maybe.
Just gone over for a couple of years.
That'd been awesome if he had.
That would have been awesome. Sting versus Shawn Michaels. That was always the dream match.
That'd be great.
Let's see here. Reese Fisher says, we might start doing this. I was thinking how to beef up the podcast a little bit. Like, take a couple questions. Instead of like one entire question episode, take a couple questions every week. See how it works. Reese Fisher, or Rise Fisher, I think it's Rise. Rise or Reese?
I think it's Reese.
Okay, Reese. With reference to the events that occurred late in the Royal Rumble, what do you think of an anti-hero Wyatt versus the Authority? What do you think of a Wyatt versus Authority angle maybe after WrestleMania? Getting the Wyatts over as like faces.
I think they need to build up Bray as their top heel, so I don't...
Yeah?
No.
Yeah. I was kind of into that. I kind of want to see... I like when different universes collide. I like whenever Wyatts sort of mix it up.
I know some people don't enjoy it, but I think it's possible to do heel versus heel feuds, so long as they're not too similar.
Yeah.
Sort of like, Charlotte versus Sasha. They're both heels.
Sure, yeah.
But Sasha is, if there's such a thing as a beloved heel.
Oh,
Crowd loves her.
Yeah.
But, the character is a heel.
Yeah.
But she's still going up against Charlotte, who's also a heel.
Yeah.
It can work, so long as the two characters aren't too similar.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, you get the Wyatt versus the Authority. The Wyatts versus the Authority. The Wyatts don't really have to be... They don't have to start acting like good guys all of a sudden.
No, they can keep doing what they're doing.
They have their fucked up agenda.
Yeah,
and they start doing fucked up things to the Authority. Because right now the Authority's not scared of anybody. They just keep on getting foiled by good guys who are, like Daniel Bryan foils the plans because they don't think that he's going to be able to withstand so many matches, blah, blah, blah. Roman Reigns are putting the exact same thing. The Wyatts are a big entity. And to see them
that's what I mean by
get fucked up with the Authority could be fun to watch.
It could be. I mean, I'm not against it so long as they're both heel factions.
Yeah. I wouldn't want Bray to start like pandering to the crowd. You want me to see me go against the Authority?
I know.
Another one for the bad guys. Yeah. I thought that was a good question because I'm like, oh, that could be fun. I don't have any other questions. That was just one question.
It was one question. One question.
I like this though. Josh here, Beaver Boy, says, just watched Going in Raw from yesterday. We did an OGs as Tyler Breeze, which is where we try to book Tyler Breeze.
Yeah.
So that he... and he says, Tyler Breeze just does what he does now, and he is Tyler Leaves.
That was good.
Why didn't any of us come up with that
I was
one?
actually walking my dog last night and thought of that before I read that.
Oh, you did? That's good.
Yeah. I don't know if the backstory was the same.
Here's a good one. Nick Durham says, Tyler Breeze learns he has asthma. He is rechristened as Tyler Wheeze.
That's good.
And then we have an entire thing of Bo Dallas and his new ring gear. And then somebody sent us this gif of Triple H doing the...
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's good. Anyways. Now it's time, Larson, I think.
Let me see how far into the show we are. Yeah, 34 minutes. We can do it now.
It's time for the ultimate. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them on Twitter, hashtag Going In Raw. We might have a Reddit thread somewhere, but usually Twitter's probably the way to go. Hashtag Going In Raw. If you want to ask us questions at the end of the podcast next week, maybe we'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's time, Larson, for what is kayfabe? What is kayfabe?
It's simply the greatest wrestling trivia challenge of all.
Interesting.
12 names,
Okay.
6 real,
Yes.
6 fake.
Oh, yes.
2 bonus questions.
Okay.
There is a theme,
Oh, no.
kind of.
Okay.
Royal Rumble.
Oh, wow.
These are just people that have been in it.
Been in the Royal Rumble.
But, aliases, other names they've used.
Real.
You ready?
Yeah.
Number 1. Mr. Fiscal.
Mr. Fiscal. I'm fake.
Real.
Really?
Yep.
Who was that?
Charlie Haas.
Ah, Charlie Haas. He went by Mr. Fiscal?
Apparently.
I wasn't watching at that point.
2. These aren't names they use in WWF, probably, or WWE.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
These are aliases.
Oh, yeah,
People that
okay.
had been.
Ha! That's funny.
Number 2. Marty Hall.
You're fake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3.
Okay.
Top Flight.
Real.
Fake. Top Flights are golf balls.
Well, I know that, but that could easily be a wrestler name.
Number 4.
Okay.
Concrete.
How do you spell it?
Like concrete.
Okay. Fake.
Real.
Damn it.
Number 5.
Okay.
Max Cherry.
Sounds like a porn name. Max Cherry. Fake.
Real.
Fuck, I was going to say real too.
Number 6.
I'm 2 in my head right now.
Yeah. Number 6. Handsome Hansen.
Ooh, that's a good name, but I'm going to say fake.
It is fake. That is a good name. Number 7.
Yeah.
Mondo Clean.
Fake.
Real.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
God damn it.
Number 8. Nevada Smith.
Fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 9. Rocky Las Vegas.
Real.
Yeah. Number 10.
I'm not the worst. Tied for worst.
Number 10.
Might be tied for worst.
The Blueprint.
I mean, that's an album. Fake.
Real. Number 11. Art Street.
Art Street? Fake.
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound like a real name. That's terrible.
Last one, 12.
Huh.
TJ Striker.
TJ Striker, huh? Fake.
Yeah.
Okay.
6.
6. Bonus questions.
2 questions.
Okay.
Both Royal Rumble related.
Go ahead.
Who entered in the... Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can do this one question first. Who entered the number 1 spot at the very first Royal Rumble in 1988?
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
He won that Royal Rumble. He entered number 1.
Oh.
No, that's your answer. That's your guess, I should say. It's Bret Hart.
Okay. I wouldn't have guessed about it. I didn't even know he was around 1988.
Second.
I thought he was in NXT in 1988.
What was the first year that the Royal Rumble winner was guaranteed a spot against the champ in the WrestleMania main event?
Oh, when I talking about that.
When did they start that? What year?
I'm going to say 93.
Good guess. That's correct.
Oh, stabbing you in a bonus question. Nice. Look at that. Because I knew they did it in 97, and Flair was when they were fighting for the actual gold in 92. So I was like, okay, let's just say the next year they did that. Yay, me. I'm the best.
7, huh?
Yeah.
Good job.
Plus, I got the bonus. The bonus question would be 2 each.
No, they've never been 2 each.
Should be, though. That one should
Well,
be.
if that's the case, I've gotten like 13.
Nah, not really, though.
Yeah, I have.
All right. All right, friendos. Well, that's Going In Raw. Thanks for tuning in. You can check us out on the iTunes. We got that Friendo Club shirt up at TeePublic. That's a lot of fun. I went to go check the mail to see if it was there. It was not there yet. But you can check it out. Anyways, we'll talk to you guys later.